What's up, everybody? We're so glad that you're joining us today. Listen, we have incredible worship by Desi Raines and an awesome message by Sean Curry. But before that, make sure you hop on Instagram and like this video and comment on it. If you comment your grade, the most people who do it, we may send you pizza next week. So go ahead and do that, like it, comment, share it, and tune into this message.
A portrait, a visual, a piece of art, painted on a canvas, etched on a piece of paper, or displayed within the depths of a heart. A statement of words illustrated through picture, emotion, pain, joy, life change, turned to colors arranged in a unique structure to make a statement. A portrait, perfect when looked at from a distance, put together, eloquent, unblemished, complete, without error and put on display, available for all to see. But as you move closer, you notice the subtle imperfections, the cracks in the wooden frame, the chips in the paint, misaligned stencils, and bleed-through ink stains, an objection to the former belief of beauty. The portrait becomes useless film, ready for disposal, its shelf life expired. But wait, you look again, turn the perspective, adjust the lens, and then you see it. What if the imperfections were what created its purpose? The boundaries of meaning run deeper than the surface. Could it be that the artist created it uniquely? He couldn't be content with the art staying ordinary. The imperfections are what make it art, uniquely used to sculpt its purpose. Isn't it crazy that our lives can be this portrait? From a distance, you may seem perfect, put together, without blemish, your pain hidden behind the frames that are painted in shame and crafted with names that drive you to throw your potential down the drain. But what if your portrait was guilty of being framed? Framed for being a mistake, a failure. Framed for disappointment and let down expectations. See, could it be that there is an artist, a creator that uses your claimed imperfections to drive your purpose? An artist who doesn't use his craft to paint you into darkness, but to paint you into light, leaving the shadowy figures that shape your past behind. When looking at your portrait in this season, closely evaluating, you may see broken pieces off of the plan that you had written, chips in the paint off the first coat of expectations that you'd given. But before you give up on this portrait, may I pose a question? Have you adjusted your lens? Flipped your perspective? Because maybe your portrait is abstract. It needs a second look. But could it be that your artist took what you saw as finished, thought to be complete, and is continuing to mold it into his masterpiece?
Knowing the big picture when you hear a story is incredibly important. Could you imagine just basing what you knew about your favorite movie off of only one scene of it? Like, imagine seeing the scene in Frozen when Anna is turned to ice, and then you just turn the movie off. Or what if you only watched the scene in Avengers Infinity War when Thanos uses the Infinity Gauntlet to kill off most of the Avengers? Or how about if you only saw the scene in Harry Potter when Harry Potter dies? Those would be some pretty depressing stories, wouldn't they? If we allow for one scene in a movie to define our view of that movie, every movie would look drastically different for us. That'd be pretty crazy to do, wouldn't it? See one scene and then just turn the movie off? Here's the thing. I think that this is the exact thing that many of us are doing in our lives right now. We're allowing a scene, a season of life to define the way that we are viewing the overall story. I think that we can all agree that 2020 has been a pretty terrible scene that we've all been watching. And a lot of us would want to turn off the movie right about now. There can't be a purpose for this. There can't be a redemption plan for this moment. When Jesus died on the cross and was taken down and put in the tomb, do you think his disciples were excited about the scene? Like, do you think they were waiting around to watch the rest of the movie? No, the Bible literally said that they went and they hid. The story was over for them. They didn't see a way to redemption. What if the story ended there with no hope? Well, luckily it doesn't. Jesus rose from the grave 3 days later, appeared to his disciples, and the rest is history. See, I say all of this to ask you this question. Is it possible that you've too quickly written off this season? Could it be that God is preparing something in and through this season to lead you to the greatest possible story that you could imagine? Romans 8:28 says this, and we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. All things work together for good. That doesn't just mean the best scenes of our lives. It also means the hardest. Get this, COVID will work together for good. Fighting for injustice will work together for good. Let down expectations will work together for good. Heartache will work together for good. How? See, I think we just need to flip our perspective and adjust our lens. Don't turn this story off just because you are living in a scene that you don't understand. The author, the writer, your Father, King Jesus will flip this script in ways you won't believe and write a story using your life that will be redemptive, good, and better than anything you could ask for or imagine. Jesus is really good at flipping scripts. Man who was blind, guess what? His story ends in sight. Guy who couldn't walk, his story ended in running and jumping. His friend Lazarus, who was dead, his story ended in walking out of the tomb. Every person destined for death and for hell, Jesus literally makes the only way for life through faith in him. Over and over and over again, God is faithful. Over and over, he turns devastating scenes into miraculous comeback stories. And the same could be true for your circumstances. The same could be real for your life. Adjust your lens today. Lean in with faith. Open your hands and allow for God to give you a peek into the scene that is coming. It doesn't end here. The story isn't over.
Wow, 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 wow. What an incredible message and incredible worship by Desi. Thank you guys so much for leading us in this moment. We're so grateful for the ministry that we're able to do online and in social media, and you guys meeting in house parties. We're so grateful for you as well. Listen, if this is your first time with us, we want to connect with you. So text FTG to this number, 833-710-0288, and we want to connect with you. Someone from our team will reach out to you just to get some more information, get to learn about you, and get you invested into our ministry, because we believe that we want to be beyond what we're doing here just in a house party, but we want to connect with you personally. So thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great house party.